We're both in our Blue Jay hats.
Yes,
We are. Well, you more than me, and Layla are ready for the playoffs. Like I said, I told you, and I was telling her, their easiest road to the ALCS is to be the 6th seed. They backed their way into the 6th seed, and just like I told you off air, and I don't know how many other people think this, I don't understand the championship celebration for making the postseason. I've never understood it. It's not a Blue Jays thing. It's not a Toronto thing. It's every MLB team. Congratulations. We got so drunk we made the playoffs. How'd you do? We lost. We got swept. Last year, they got swept. Like, they make this have this big party in the dressing room. They get swept. And then you look at the NHL, and they don't want to touch a trophy. Someone tweeted, like, don't touch a trophy, but the MLB has a huge party. Like, that's just one of the sports celebrations I have never understood.
You're right. And if you're like me, you go through your Facebook on this days every day to see what some of your statuses were. And October 2nd, 2016, shared it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Blue Jays, and said, let's get drunk after clinching a spot in the wildcard game.
So you're on board.
That's another one of those things I don't understand. Like, you literally almost effed yourself by losing 4 of the final 5 games. No, that's incorrect.
2 of the last 3.
2 of the last 3.
Yeah.
And had to get help to get into the playoffs, and you celebrate with champagne in the clubhouse after a loss. It's dumb. It's stupid. Grab your gear, get on the flight, get to Minnesota.
And that was even the funnier part, is they lost the game and then went and celebrated. Like, maybe I would have been a little bit more okay, and I don't care what teams do. They always do it, but more okay and a little less ridiculous had they stayed at the Rogers Center, watched the Seattle-Texas game to find out Seattle lost, and then have your party.
Well,
you don't have the Sportsnet media there. You don't have everything.
Yeah.
But at least you're partying because you're in. The next day is, all right, let's stay healthy. Let's play some baseball. And now it's a business trip instead of getting smashed.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the series? How do you feel about the wild card?
People will say that Minnesota is the more favorable matchup over Tampa Bay. Yeah, I'll have to agree. And I think I can speak for all Blue Jays fans when I say that this season was underwhelming. Their pitching was really good, but their hitting was dog shirt. Yeah. And, the players who you expected to have a big season, like Guerrero, just did not have a big season. He's 3 years ago, you see him step up to the plate, and it's almost you expect him to hit a home run. But then this year, you almost expect him to strike out.
Or hit a ground ball.
Yeah, like that's, or into a double play, that's just the kind of season it was. And I think they got, to make it into the playoffs, they got lucky. Because another loss, and another loss along the way somewhere, they're probably out.
Yeah.
But that's the good thing about playoffs. I know it's cliche. Anything can happen once the season's over. And I think this team is I think they've got a really good shot based on where they're going in and where they're at right now. By the time this show comes out, hopefully they have a 1-0 series lead. And because, with the game on Thursday night and first pitch of Game 3, if necessary, at 5:35. Can the Wildcats put the game on the Jumbotron? Probably not. So there will be I think there will be a lot of people somewhat distracted if there is in fact a Game 3 when Victoriaville comes down.
What worries me about the Blue, I think the pitching is going to be fine. I assume it's Gosman going in Game 1 because that's what Dan and Buck were talking about yesterday.
It's confirmed.
The pitching's fine. Bullpen should be fine. What worries me about the Blue Jays is the hitting, in the aspect of everything's analytics now. They're so worried about what they need to do. I don't know if the team has the small ball in them to, if they get a run on a single with none out, bunt the guy over to second instead of trying to hit a 2-run home run or putting it somewhere. Like, do they have when the games get tight in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, do they got that small ball mentality? Yeah. And maybe not getting into the playoffs with AL record-breaking home runs is a good thing for them because they had to do it a different way. But, you look at Vladdy, and this isn't a Blue Jays podcast by any means, but I've watched more games now since I went and since I've talked about them with you. But there was one on the road. He wasn't playing because he was injured. They got the bases loaded, and they brought him in.
Yeah. Well,
he's not gonna hit a grand slam like he used to. He might, but what does he do? Grounds
out.
in
Yeah.
and lags out a single to get in. But still, it's just like he's just not doing what he does, and maybe this will be the playoff run for him. Maybe every team has that magical one run, and maybe
that's the hope. I don't think you'll come close to a 2015 team.
No.
But
be interesting to see how many Blue Jays fans travel though from Toronto to Minnesota.
Yeah, I was looking for the hell of it. I was looking at flights today from Toronto to Minneapolis, and there's some pickings. There's not much left.
Oh, really?
So it sounds like or looks like there could be a pretty good contingent of Blue Jays fans. So bring the blue.